first thing you have to determine before putting in page numbers is to ensure that you actually have the sections correct. So if I just scroll down a little bit, you can see that I have 4 different sections. That's because each one of these first 4 pages will be numbered differently. The very first page is the cover page. It actually does not have a number, but we want to allow it to be recognized by Word as a page in itself. So I click once in the header at the very top of the cover page, and I click on Different First Page. So you can see that the header changes too. It says First Page Header, Section 1. The next page, of course, I also want to change eventually, but you can see that 2 things happen when I click in the header in Section 2. One is it says Link to Previous, and that's really important to notice because, in fact, I really do not want this page to be linked to the first page, but I'm not going to do anything about it quite yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try out the page numbers just to see what happens. So while I'm on the Header and Footer tool, I go over to Page Numbers in the Header and Footer group, and I select Current Position. Let's see what happens. It says Page 2. Okay, so that's a problem because I do not want Word to recognize the cover page as page 1. I actually want the Word program to recognize this eventual table of contents to be page 1. So let's take out the 2. And I'm going to do 2 things. I am, first of all, while I'm still in the header, I'm going to deselect Link to Previous because I do not want this section to be linked to the first page. So I deselect that. It's no longer linked to previous, and this icon disappears. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to over to Page Number and down to Format Page Numbers. What I want to do is I want to start this page on page 1, and I click on OK. Now that I'm in that right header, I go up to Page Number, I go to Current Position, and I select 1. Okay, that's good. I have a page 1, I have a page 2, and I have a page 3. The problem is, I do not want the numbers to appear here. I only want this particular page to be recognized as page 1. So what do? Well, if I erase that number, this page is linked to this page. You can tell that it's linked because it says Same as Previous, and when I click here, it says Link to Previous. Well, why don't we unlink it? So I'm going to click Link to Previous so that now header 2 is no longer linked. So what happens? Well, if I erase this and I press backspace on my keyboard, you can see that nothing happens. I just erased number 1. It didn't actually affect this page. According to Mr. Pittman, we do not put page numbers on the very first page of content either. So if I erase this particular one, that is this number, it will erase this. Watch what happens. So I have to then unlink this particular header as well. So I'll just undo. I'll click in the third header. I'll unlink. And then I'll take out number 2. Once I've done that, I'll just review this and I'll see in fact, I have no page number, but that is in page 1. It's recognized as page 1. This is page 2. It's recognized as page 2. And I have page 3. I go down through the document and I see all the beautiful page numbers illustrated. I'm done putting in page numbers.